Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my author's answer video for January 2022. The author's answer series was started by author-tuber J.D. Archer and his writing group, wherein they posed themselves a variety of reading and writing related questions. And I have been answering each of these questions sequentially for the past few years. So that means I have a playlist that I can leave linked down below, as well as more information into JD's writing group and the prompts. This month I am up to question number 58. What are some of the online forums or websites you use to have discussions with other authors? And the truth is, I don't do this. I've occasionally glanced upon online forums, but for the most part I find them overwhelming. But some of the ones I've kind of glanced upon, I guess, is a few years ago I was part of a site where I still have, I think, an account, because it could come in handy again. But anyway, the website is Scribophile, and it's an online reviewing site where you can post chapters or short stories or other forms of writing to have critiqued. There is a honor system where first you have to garner points by critiquing other people's work before, being a greedy Gus and demanding your own critiques. But that's, I guess that's the selling point of Scribophile, but there's a lot of other components, including very active forums for writing and other topics. And I looked at them, and like always, I felt overwhelmed. And that's the same like when it comes, for example, to the NaNoWriMo forums, which I glance at every year when I do National Novel Writing Month. And usually I do utilize the local forums a little bit, maybe to introduce myself to local writers or to announce or respond to local writing events when they happened in person. I mean, there were some these last couple years that happened online, but for the most part I didn't really get into those. But in person I would often respond or even host events. But then again, when it came to the large variety of other writing forums, for the most part, with very few exceptions, I really did not get involved with them because I found them too overwhelming. I guess especially in November when I already have to write 50,000 words. And finally, I guess I'll point to another site where I don't even think I've looked at all at the forums, but I know that they're very active because the creators of the site say that they are. The site is World Anvil, which is a world building site, like a very, I want to say Wikipedia for world building, but Wikipedia is too simplistic a term for all of the amazing stuff they offer for novelists and gamers and that sort of thing. And on the side of that, they have a very active Discord, I think, is where they have all of their forums where they talk about world building concerns. And I haven't even looked at any of that, and I actually only have a free account there. But, there's a lot of great community there, I think. The creators were very recently on a podcast that I just started listening to, The Shit No One Tells You About Writing, which, as a side note, I guess I'll prop up that podcast. It's a different sort of writing community, writing podcasts. And this one I just started listening to, and I've really been enjoying it. There's particularly two sections in most of the podcast episodes, and then sometimes the host has on like special guests like the World Anvil people. But most of their episodes they have this Books with Hooks section where two literary agents, or sometimes a guest literary agent, comes on board and they read and discuss query letters in an incredible amount of detail, incredibly helpful for anyone who is in the midst of writing query letters for trying to find an agent. And then the second part is an in-depth interview with an author, and I think it's the most writer-centric interview I've ever sort of found. I listen to a lot of author interviews, and some of them are very reader-centric, but even on the writing podcasts or whatever, I don't think they're quite this writer-centric, and so it's very exciting to hear people really dive deep into the process. So anyway, very tangent, but yeah, listen to podcasts if you're perhaps like me and can't quite get into online forums. I do think it is important to talk to other people about writing, or I think the vast majority of writers are in the same camp I am, where it's very difficult to do this on your own and keep momentum. So talking with other writers is incredibly important, and the online community provides a wonderful resource, especially if you don't have people in your waking life. I actually do happen to have people in my waking life. I go to the DC Writers Salon, which is an in-person writing community, and we talk regularly about craft after each of our sessions. I've actually been having difficulty with that lately, probably mostly because of my own imposter syndrome, which has gotten kind of bad. I'm not quite sure what is entirely going on with that. It feels like I'm kind of stuck in an eddy that I'm trying to get out of, and yet I still continue to get so much out of the group and, you know, talking with writers about writing and also engaging in the act of writing and having that accountability of a place to go and people to write with. So that's, I think, where I get the gestalt of what this question is about, is through in-person stuff. I don't think I tend to find forums in general overwhelming unless they're like forums for like Game of Thrones or Boardwalk Empire back in the day. So in a way, what that makes me think is that forums work well for me when discussing story in a very particular, specific way. So maybe forums, I should think to myself, could work for me like in a beta reading sort of way, when you talk very specifically about a certain project. Because most writing forums are very general, you know, you don't go into a whole lot of detail about your projects and keep it more on the surface level, and I guess I just don't find that as engaging. But who knows, maybe a forum could work for beta reading, so I'll keep that in mind, I guess. But for now, I think I've rambled on long enough, and I will leave you for now with links to all of the various things I talked about down below, if you want to check those sites and podcasts and what have you out. I will be back on this channel very soon with my first Friday reads of the new year. So exciting. It's kind of late in the month for the first one, so I'll have a couple books to talk about. I'm having a pretty good start to the reading year, so I'm happy about that. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.